Hey guys, this is Alan Fregman
And Miguel Campos.
for TD Survival.
And welcome back after this summer break.
Yeah, Miguel went on a short vacation, and then I went on vacation, and then it just
Yeah, you really didn't had too many vacations, but
yeah.
I was in Spain for holidays, so
Yeah, my vacation was not that special, but but anyway, here.
We're back.
Yeah, so we want to talk about Sublime today. It's our favorite text editor.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah, I showed it to Miguel a couple months ago, I think.
Sublime?
Yeah, when was it? Like last year or?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
It was years ago, really?
Yeah.
Time flies. Okay.
Yeah.
I felt like it was months ago.
Yeah, the times go by, man.
Yeah.
You're getting old. I'm not, but you.
Yeah. So SublimeText is an awesome editor. You can get it to sublimetext.com/2 for version 2. He's also making SublimeText 3, but it's still in beta and it's not 100% yet, so we don't recommend it. You can see on the homepage a bunch of cool stuff that it can do. It's free to try indefinitely.
Exactly.
The guy who makes it is super nice and super talented at writing. It's an awesome package. And he's super nice to actually let you try it and see how awesome it is as long as you want. And then
yeah, exactly. The only thing that you're gonna get it's a little annoying pop-up
menu
from time to time, but it doesn't block anything.
Yeah, every few saves you get a little warning. It's like, hey, Sublime costs money. Would you like to buy a license?
Yeah.
And eventually you'll feel bad because you realize how awesome it is, and and you'll want to buy one.
Yeah, it's making blood. I didn't pay it.
Okay, I paid one. I thought it was great. Anyway. I have spoken of Sublime before in my blog, in darkvertex.com, which is my personal blog. I have a post called A Few Reasons Why I Love Sublime Text 2. You can watch that. A lot of the stuff in that video we're going to cover a little bit more in detail and
it's more
fun.
Yeah.
So let's get started. Sublime Text looks like this. And you have a... Let's see if you open a page here.
Different tabs.
Yeah, you have different tabs. You can pick them out. You can float them back in.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
For me, the most special feature, like I first see, it's the mini scroll down or mini.
The mini browser, I think it's called.
Browser. Yeah. I don't know how it's called. It's the mini text.
Yeah, I think it's called mini browser here.
It's sidebar. I don't know.
The mini map. Yeah, mini map. Okay.
Mini map.
The mini map is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
When you have a big file, or when you know your own file, like this is a module that I had, I can see, like, I know, like, oh, this is the declaration that I was doing for this big dictionary here, and once, especially if you wrote your own code, you become accustomed to seeing the patterns of it, the colors and so on.
Yeah, exactly. You start to see patterns or a little difference on the code that it can allow you to go straight to this part of the code.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just click and then you're there.
Exactly.
It's
so instead to read, you go more in a visual way.
Absolutely. And you probably have noticed that the colors are very nice by default. It's a lovely theme.
Yeah, that's the first text editor like for coding or that I never change a single color. Normally it's awful, the colors.
There's other colors. Yeah, I think it's under preferences color scheme. You can try some out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a few.
I never.
Some of them are horrible. Some of them are tasteful.
Okay.
Like pastels and dark is not so bad. It's not as bad.
I like my classic one.
There's even one called Twilight.
Twilight. Yeah, if you're fan of these movies, you can use it. No.
Yeah, it's a little darker.
Wow.
If you like vampires. And I saw online that someone made a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme.
Are you kidding me?
Not kidding. It's amazing. But I'm going to switch back to the default, which is Monokai.
Monokai.
Which is very nice. Anyway, so a couple features. Probably the strongest feature in Sublime is the multi-cursor function.
Yeah.
Which is basically, when you're selecting text and you see a little blinking line, that's your cursor.
Yeah.
And you can have as many as you want in Sublime. You can just add them all over the place. I'm holding down Control and clicking with my left mouse button, and they're everywhere, and you can select random things. And of course, this doesn't seem that useful right now, but if you start using it in conjunction with other things, like say I want to replace the word self, I could highlight it one by one. I could also I believe, drag with my middle mouse button. Yeah. You can do like a square selection, which is pretty cool. Very, very useful. And if you can also use a hotkey, and we're going to talk about a lot of hotkeys, which is Control D, which selects the next substring based on your current selection. So you have a self dot, then it's going to find self dot anywhere else.
Self, next, self.
And here you see the cursor starts at the beginning and then at the end. It's pretty easy to just like press the left arrow and you get your cursor in the right place.
Can let's say you want to use myself or
exactly, myself or yourself.
Yeah, and it's easy to change it on all at the same time.
Exactly, and it makes things like renaming variables super easy. And it's just a wonderful feature. It's really the best.
Especially, let's say you are making several functions and you want to change one of the variables or only one function.
Exactly,
For all the functions that use the same variable, just for this one. So it's Control D and so on.
Yeah, and it's a great feature. And just about anything related to text that you can do in Sublime, you can do with multiple cursors. Yeah. Just about any other hotkey you find that we're gonna show you does other cool things, you can use it with multiple cursors, which is great. And of course, to escape the multi-cursor thing, you can, let's say if I make a few, you can just press the escape button.
Yeah, escape, or just click in another position without any of the...
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, with
you click somewhere else.
Shortcut.
Yeah, I tend to be a lot control, of... I'm very keyboard heavy when I code in Sublime. So I use the S key a lot.
Yeah, you should. Keyboard. If you want to pretend, only use it with the mouse.
Yeah, so
I think it will not work as well.
Yeah, so that's a multi-cursor. It's super useful. You can do other things like there's an awesome build system, which what it is basically is you press the hotkey Control B and it's going to try to do something with your file. And there's a few pre-built ones. The Python one in this case tries to use your system Python to run the existing script, which is cool. If you have like print hello world. Oops. Hello world. And press Control B and you get nothing.
Yeah, because it's not a PY.
Oh, no, but it is a PY.
It's a PY.
Yeah, I think actually... sorry, it took us... I think something is lagging. Maybe the capturing...
Yeah, because the recording, 9.9 seconds to print hello world. It's the new world record.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the recording program is slowing me down.
Yeah, probably.
So anyway, that's the result of my script. I can also that thing that opened was called the console, and it shows me the output. I can also open it by pressing Control and tilde on most American keyboards, or this little character here.
Yeah, one thing, guys, you don't need to copy right now all the shortcuts. We will post it on the description of the video, so you can just copy paste or print from there.
Yeah, you can try it yourself. We're just gonna talk about why they're useful.
Yeah, exactly. We have a plenty.
We have a small list of hotkeys which are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the console is great. It's an actual full-fledged Python console, so you already have everything you could want. You can print hello world there if you want. Oops.
Yeah, wait.
Hi. You can also do...
This is way faster?
Yeah, it's instant because you're already in the interpreter.
Yeah.
It doesn't try to save the file. You can also do math if you want. 2 + 2 is 4. Yeah, amazing.
I did a bad joke before with that.
Inside joke.
Yeah, inside joke, very Spanish, by the way.
Yeah, very Spanish joke. And other things we have, let's see. There's a great snippet system, which I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, I'm become fan today. Because honestly, I didn't know. I was more old school, saving all my snippets in a nice folder structure and copy pasting.
There's
and I came today and...
it's like, hey, there's snippets in Sublime.
Yeah, and I say, what? Oh?
What?
And and thanks God you cannot see my face.
Yeah. So for example, you can press the word class and press tab, and then you get this default snippet of the Python class standard.
so you can
code.
put turbo. Yeah. So if you have troubles to remember how to defend the super, if it's later self or the self is going outside, with these snippets you will forget completely.
Yeah.
You don't need to remember anymore.
Yeah,
Basic stuff.
Totally. And what's cool when you do stuff like that is you can have multiple selections of the same string throughout your code. So if you're trying to like set a variable or set something that's going to change.
Yeah, but for example, for the class, it's super useful because normally, let's say you create a new class that it's called
and then you want to define what the object is, and then you want to define the doc string and say something useful. And then you want to define the arguments and then do something.
Yeah, all by tabbing all the time.
Yeah, you just keep tabbing.
You have some orders and it goes one by one. Will be nice to see how it's done.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you go to Tools and you go New Snippet and you get the default snippet, which is great. It's a bit of XML code. It's very simple. In the content tag, you put everything you need to put between the CData lines, which is this double bracket thing, and the CData line at the top. Anything in between here is your snippet, and we can go with the default, for example. Also, there's a couple comments here, XML comments, and they're mentioning that you can have a tab trigger, which is great. A tab trigger is just like what I showed you. You type something and you press tab, and it's like, whoa.
You go first the name of the class, for example, next the name of the variables, next and the name
but this is the tab trigger. This is the word that you type first, and then you press tab, and then it happens.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's the other one.
Yeah, and now it's a good time to show you one of the hotkeys, which is control, I think it's / that you call this?
Yeah, I think so.
Control / does a comment. Uncommenting and recommenting lines, which is very useful. And it's mentioning here in the comment that you can set a scope. The scope is your scope, like with variables.
Python, basically where you want to use this.
Yeah, if you want to use it anywhere in Python code, you want to use it in another, like HTML, for example.
Yeah.
So this way you don't have like a million filters everywhere you go. You get pretty custom. And now it's also a good time to show you the hotkey Control L, which selects a full line. And of course you can do it with multiple cursors, and you can even go ahead and kind of cheat, and like double click on the word optional, press Control D to select the word optional, and then you have two cursors, and then Control L and select the lines, which is pretty neat.
It's many ways to
to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a tab trigger hello. We're going to save it. And it's going to save it into your username.
Yeah, normally this folder is provided by default when you try to save the snippet. So
this is the user folder. Yes, this user folder. This stuff will survive version upgrades. You shouldn't work in the application folder because then it's going to get wiped when you try to upgrade.
Yeah, you don't want to lose all your snippets.
And you can make a folder in here with your own folder, like Miguel snippets or whatever, and then put the stuff in there, and then you just call it what you were calling it, or something that you can remember, and then do .sublime-snippet and save it. And then what's awesome in Sublime is that as soon as you save anything and any configuration changes happen, it is automatically refreshed.
It's done. It's
done
ready to use
instantly.
Correct.
So now we can do hello, press tab, and now the word this is highlighted, and then the word snippet is highlighted, and I just tab one more time, and I'm done. And as you can see here, this happens because of this interesting syntax here: the $, curly bracket, a number, a colon, and then a word. The word is the default value.
Yeah,
and then you close it with another curly bracket.
And this is the order, basically, of tabbing that
exactly.
you use.
And then what's cool is that the number is there for a reason, because you can repeat it multiple times, and which is what we saw with the class snippet.
Yeah, exactly. So you can type once, and it spread on, for example, a pre-made function or a class generator or something like that.
Yeah, I have, for example, here a progress bar snippet. I have a few snippets. I'm probably going to share them as an add-on at some point, but I have a number of soft-image related Sublime things
Yeah, we need to clean up a little
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, I want to clean it up a little bit before, but
Yeah, well, actually because we are a team, but will be done by Alan.
yeah, it's mostly my code for this one. So we have an example here. I have the word bar, which is everywhere, which is the name of the variable for this progress bar declaration that I'm doing in Softimage and scripting. And if you don't know scripting, then whatever. But this is how you declare a progress bar in Softimage. And as you can see, I started with the variable name, and that's going to highlight everything here, and then it's going to go to the next one, which is this one, and so on and so on. And it doesn't have to be in order. Like you can say number 2 can be down here, and then number 3 can be over here, and number 4 can be down here.
Yeah,
we can go all over the place.
Jumping back and forward.
Exactly.
But it will work eventually. You will finish the timing process.
Yeah, and you can add a description. The description will be right next to the auto completion thing. So if you do a progress bar, it'll say your completion and then what it does. So it's not something that it's in the default example snippet, but you can just add it. Just type in the word description and make it a tag and close your tag. Just put some text in between. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
And like I said before, it's instant. You just be like, says hello. And it's going to be available the second I press Control S. If I do hello. Oops, actually, I should have said hello. And it says hello.
Yeah, exactly. It's there before you select. Because if not, it's obviously not going to show up.
Yeah. And you guys are seeing some stuff that you probably won't see. This is some of my own auto completion stuff that I'm going to share at another time.
Exactly. So it's don't be scared if you don't see all the list.
Yeah. All that stuff is some custom stuff that I'm going to show you another time. And that's snippets. They're super useful. You can just keep making more snippet files and keep adding to your repertoire.
As much as you have, as faster you can work.
Yeah, exactly. Like
at some point you don't need to learn coding. Just take all the
just
snippets.
Take all the snippets.
Yeah.
I have some for like new plugin, for example, and I have my.
Yeah, this is pretty similar to the plugin wizard from.
Yeah, pretty much.
You have
you can almost take the same code and make it into a snippet. I'm gonna share mine eventually, but basically, yeah, you are awesome, and then
make Sublime things happen.
Yeah, I like that joke. Boo. And I have other ones like exercise call for collection, which I'm typing all the time, and I change the variable, and a bunch of other ones like I don't know, write command, register command. That's little stuff, and it really helps me code a little bit faster when I'm doing things. So that's snippets. I hope I didn't talk too long about that. The next topic we want to show is package control. Actually, before we go into package control, which is awesome, let's just briefly mention projects.
Okay.
Projects are over here in the project menu. By default, when you open Sublime, you're just in a default generic session, and that's fine. And actually, one of the awesome features in Sublime is that you can type away a bunch of stuff and close the program, and it's going to remember it as is.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even have to save.
Yeah, it's like Google Chrome. It has also this option. I think it's
like
it remember tabs.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, it remembers your tabs and also remembers the buffer, which is unusual.
Yeah, if you have a strip halfway down and you forget to save and close your session, it's okay. I mean, you will not lose anything. It will stay there for you after you realize that you miss it.
Exactly. You're like, I didn't save.
No.
Also, if you crash, it's constantly saving your session, and if you crash, it never crashed. But I'm saying if something else crashes.
I was about to say I never had a crash with.
Yeah, I have never had a crash with SublimeText. But if your system crashes because you did an infinite loop or something silly,
yeah,
then you're welcome to just open Sublime again, and all your stuff is there. It's great. Awesome. And projects are the same thing. It's just basically saving your session to a file. So you save a project, and it's going to remember it. It's going to be a .sublime project file. Just put it somewhere that you know. and
Yeah,
what else?
basically, yeah. If
Yeah,
you
and then-
save and you close all the tabs, and but later you want to reopen all the same tabs, you can do it.
Exactly. And if
They-
you typically, when you open up a fresh installation of Sublime, you're going to have the sidebar, which is over here. You can hide it. Shows you your open files. You can also rearrange your tabs, which is kind of nice. And in here, you can throw in a folder, and it's going to, let's see, like, I don't know, my packages folder. And it's going to be there, and you're going to have everything. This is my Sublime packages folder. It's kind of got a lot of stuff. And you can just open your files there, and you can read them. You don't even have to open them. You notice that when you click on one, it's not actually showing me the tab that it corresponds to. It's kind of open. And as soon as you try to open it, it's going to be a tab. So that's just to like see your files. And then if you regret adding a folder, you can just right click and remove from project. Do not press delete folder, because that is doing what you think it's doing.
Yeah, it's giving a reward or something.
I don't know if it gives a warning. I assume that it does. I don't want to try
I was
it.
saying a reward, like
a rewarding,
extra,
yeah,
an extra
like
prize to be so destroyed.
I see. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Anyway, you can remove the folder from projects if you change your mind later on. And when you save your project, that's going to be saved with you. And projects are constantly saved. You don't have to save anything. And once you save the file, and then it's going to be always in your recent projects. And you can just keep going there and just open it. It's great. And yes, so Sublime package control is awesome. It's a really amazing add-on. So Sublime has this concept of packages, which is
we'll say plugins.
Well, I mean, they call them packages. So
Yeah.
I'm going to call them packages. But it's kind of like soft-image add-ons, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of that.
Yeah, if you need to, in Sublime terms, will be.
Yeah, in soft-image terms, it's an add-on.
It's an add-on.
In Sublime terms, it's a package. And in packages, you can, save the folder and give it to a friend or whatever. But there's a central repository from which to install packages, which is great.
It's very.
And it was done by a third party, which is why it's not included in Sublime by default. But there's only one guy who's done this, and he's made it super nice for everyone else. And if you look up Sublime Package Control on Google, this will be the first thing that you come up with. And if you click Install, you go down here. Note that there is a special version for SublimeText 3, but we're using version 2 right now. And it's very simple. You copy this questionable line of code that looks like, typically I would say do not copy and paste and run code from some random website, but this guy is trustworthy. And what it's doing is a very short piece of code that downloads his add-on and extracts it and installs it.
And after you did this first time, you open the door
to awesomeness.
Exactly.
That's what you do. So you copy that and you open up the console as I described before. Control tilde or the kind of the, what do you call this? It's a little key here. I don't know. It's a little accent. It's the same one on the tilde key in the American keyboard. Or the one below the escape key. So you got that there and you just paste that in and you press enter. I've already installed it myself, so I'm not going to do that. But you press enter and then you wait for it to stop outputting things. And of course, to escape the console, just press the escape key, as you might expect. Yeah. And once you have this, it's super easy. You open up the command panel, which is Control-Shift-P, which is your general panel. Anything you can do in Sublime, pretty much, you can do from here. And it also tells you all the hotkeys, which is super useful. And then it's autocomplete, so you can start typing like LDA package control stuff is prefixed by package control. So you start typing PACA, and you can do, it'll do like multiple autocompletions. So you can do PACA install, and then you can press enter, and it's going to say at the bottom loading repositories. It's going to do a refresh. It's going to take a few seconds.
Yeah, it remembered me a little bit like Linux.
Yeah, it's very much like the same concept as Linux.
Yeah, you have all these repositories and you yum install, blah, blah.
Yeah, like yum or like apt-get or all of those, yeah.
And
the
nice thing about this package control, the first one, it's that it handles for you the repositories, so it's kind of more visual. Think, what happened here? There are not packages available for install.
That is something happened here.
Yeah, probably you have all the packages already installed.
Yeah,
and you don't need to reinstall anything else.
I don't think so. Let's see. Let's try again.
Let's try control.
Oh, there we go. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it was a bit slow. Maybe for the recording.
Yeah, maybe the recorder is messing up with it.
Yeah, because it's going so slow. It's not normal.
Yeah, my apologies. So we have here a list of stuff you can install. It's almost endless, so you kind of want to narrow it down. Like if you want to deal with HTML, you have a bunch of HTML stuff. If you want to deal with Git, you have a bunch of Git stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is awesome. There's several flavors of Git.
Yeah,
we
don't get lost. We have a little list.
Yeah, we have a small list of a couple ones that I really like, and I think Miguel probably appreciates as well.
Yeah, some of them are new for me also, so I'm learning while we are recording here.
Yeah, also note that in the install packages list, it's excluding the ones you have already installed. So if you're trying to type one in and you're like, it's not there, you might already have it installed if you are ahead of me. So if you do list packages, you're going to see a list of installed packages. You don't have to get all of these, but I'm going to mention a couple of these that I like. Just a really quick rundown. Buffer scroll remembers your scrolling.
Yeah, we'll provide the list.
We'll provide the list. Change quotes lets you change from double quotes to single quotes. The code foo is pretty cool. It searches Stack Overflow for your question that you select, and then it finds the highest rated snippet and then pastes it back in. It's kind of like cheating.
Yeah, snippets and this thing, and boom, you super awesome coder.
Yeah, exactly. You have a Stack Overflow on your side. Then you have file diffs, which is super useful to do a diff, which is a standard way to differentiate text files, and can do them between the open files, between saved files, the existing buffer. It's a lot of options. It's really cool. Git is the Git extension for Sublime. It's the one with the shortest name. Then we have Git Gutter, which is a huge favorite of mine. I'm going to show you in a second. It basically highlights on the next to the line numbers anything that's different based on the current Git state. It's really cool. Package control, of course, you know what it is. It's already installed. Pretty JSON will make JSON pretty. If you have it will indent it nice and so on. Snake is a lot of fun when you're really angry at your code and you're like, why aren't you working?
Yeah, we'll review one by one.
Yeah, we'll review one by one. I just really want to run down really quick. Sublime System Image is my custom stuff that I'm going to share another time. And Sublime Linter, it will highlight mistakes in your code, which basic mistakes like syntax or you're not using a variable and so on. I'm going to explain
indentation.
that. Yeah, indentation, a bunch of general things. Supercalculator just does math based on your selected math in the actual text view. And then trailing spaces deals with trailing spaces, which is just emptiness after a line. Which I find, for me, it's a pet peeve. Like, I don't like people that leave random spaces in their code.
Yeah.
I don't like when that happens.
I don't like myself doing that.
Yeah. And this highlights it. So when you have that installed, it's like bright pink and like, ah.
Yeah.
And I can do Control-Shift-P and delete trailing spaces, and then it's going to get rid of them. And this is Git Gutter over here, but I'm going to show you in a second. So let's kind of go through the list.
Okay.
So change quotes, very simple. Sometimes you have a lot of things and you have an obsession with having the quotes be the same. Sometimes I am like that. And it's going to do change quotes, and it's going to change the quotes from one to the other. And you can run it again. It's going to be double quotes. Sometimes, in the case, for example, of like if you have, let's say, like if you have if you have a string.
Yeah, in string, you can have, for example, if you use double quote and you have a string inside that have a single quote, it will include it on this
like
string.
If you.
So it's a way to keep.
I think when it changes it, it will also change you'll escape your existing quotes.
Oh,
which is nice of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then if you want to keep the quotes consistent throughout your code, it's an easy way to do it. So do that. And the next one was Code Foo, which is really cool. So makes you, it's like Kung Fu, but for code. You're like, how do I reverse? I mean, I know this one, but how do I reverse reverse a string. Oops. String in Python. Like, oops, you gotta spell correctly though. And we will have something for that too. And it's Control-Alt-R once it's installed. And bam. And what it actually did is it actually searched Stack Overflow, which is a awesome website. It found a question that resembled your string.
Yeah.
Found the highest rated snippet, pasted that for you as a comment. And then you can uncomment it. And now you know.
Yeah, so this is the hello world. It's whole hello world. I cannot.
The role, I think.
So
now you know how to reverse hello world.
Wow.
And you can ask and you can have something more complex.
Yeah, I will use other like a functional reverse or something, but this is.
Well, no, that's the shortest way to reverse a line in Python.
Yeah. So you don't need to know anything about Python. Only ask. You need to know how to
ask the right questions.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
How to Google the right questions.
Exactly.
Basically, but it's an awesome little idea, and I love that someone's made that. It's great.
Yeah, I think it's I remember it's in the South Park movie. The one of the alumni asked for a stupid question or something, and then they say it's not stupid questions. It's only stupid people or something like that. So I think it's clearly a good example of how you can do.
Yeah.
But,
for Git Gutter, which is my other favorite, Git just gives you Git commands, which you can just do Git things.
Like commit.
Git add. Actually, do I even have it installed? I might not have it installed. But anyway, you can do all your Git commands from here, from the command panel. There's also a sidebar Git, which I'm not even sure if I have installed. I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't have it. I have it at work. Sidebar Git lets you do Git stuff from the right-click menu, which is very useful if you like GUI things. Exactly. You can also, I think, this may be the one. No, I think it's a different add-on that does the command panel shortcuts. But anyway, Git is very useful. We can talk about that another day. But the Git Gutter thing is really cool. If, for example, I have this gear line from a repo, and I've modified things here. So this is how it was originally. So first of all, I've deleted my trailing spaces, which I've done that. You can also toggle the highlighting of them if it bothers you and you can't touch someone else's code, which happens sometimes. And here you can see it's a little blue, a little yellow square. Sorry.
Issues with the colors?
No, I'm good. No, there's a yellow square here, and sometimes it's purple. I'm not sure what purple means, but most of the time it's yellow. I don't know why I'm saying blue. I think it's because it's right next to this word in blue. And it tells you that the line, it tells you that the line is modified, and if you do other things like add new lines,
new lines, or if you delete a complete line from, let's say delete one of the I don't know, documentation lines, or
for sure. Let's delete these comments over here, for example. Then it's gonna say that it's gonna show me these very subtle red markers. And they're at the top of one line and at the bottom of the other line. And tells me that in between these two lines, something has been deleted. Yeah,
it's when you remove a picture from your wall that has been there for 10 years. And it's these marks that remember.
Yeah, like the dust square.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And then the plus green signs indicates new lines. And all of this happens in real time, which is amazing. And it's super useful. Sometimes I open a file that I've been working on at work and I didn't commit yet. I didn't save my changes, and I'm like, oh, what was I doing? And then I can see, I was adding that line over here and doing this thing here.
Yeah, it's like a mini Git real-time thing.
Oh, it's a real-time Git diff, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can do a Git diff and it'll tell you what's different, but this is showing you right now what's going on. It's great. It's my favorite add-on by far. There's another one to indent XML. I don't really want to show that. It's very simple.
Yeah, you're working with a lot of XML files.
Yeah, if you have a lot of XML, or if you're writing a plugin that saves a lot of XML and you want to see it in a more humanly readable way with all the right spacing and indentation, you can run the command from the command panel. And one of my Oh yeah, so Sublime Linter is also there's a pretty JSON which just makes JSON indented as well. It's like the indent XML but for JSON. Sublime Linter is a really nice one, which there's a few linters. A linter in programming terms is a program that sprinkles little comments about your coding style.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's telling you about syntax, sometimes it's telling you about style, sometimes it's pointing out that you're not using something, or your indentation is completely wrong, or
a
bunch of mistakes.
For example, you import something like import OS, like we have.
Yeah, like if you have here, I'm like.
And you are not using that all in your code, this OS for anything.
Yeah.
You say, what the hell? Are you going importing this?
Yeah, so for example, I print hello and I'm like, import OS. And I'm not really using it. So I hit save and it's like, hey, you got something here. And I'm like, oh, what is it? I look down here and it's imported but unused. I'm like, oh, okay.
I like this. You import everything just in case.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. But you might be modifying code and moving stuff around and you forget that you import things.
Yeah, or just reusing code from another function.
Exactly, yeah.
It's very common that you take
or you give it the wrong indentation, for example.
Yeah.
And it's like unexpected indent. What the hell are you doing?
So now
okay, sorry.
Exactly. So it helps to reuse.
And you can see sometimes certain mistakes stop it from evaluating other mistakes. So like the indentation didn't point out that the OS didn't get found. So sometimes some of them will block other errors from appearing, but that's fine. You just look through your code.
It's funny. You just follow the rabbit and
yeah,
one after
exactly.
after other.
Yeah, and if you have this and the git getter, they will get mixed. I'm not sure which one takes priority, but it's a matter of going up and down and seeing your mistakes. Super useful. And it also points out the Python, what is it called? The PEP Python.
I'm lost. What?
And there's something in a Python coding style. It's like Python PEP 8. Style guide, yeah. It will point out all of these mistakes that you might make. The PEP 8 guide. I forget what PEP stands for. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, Python Enhancement Proposals.
Oh.
And what it is actually is like a lot of it is style, and a lot of it is in actual proposals for new features. But much of it is like, here's how we think you should be working. How you think their code should look.
Yeah, it's a kind of standard way of writing.
Yeah, for Python. For other languages, you have other things, and you can make up your mind. But all of this huge index of different like codes and things, this is all stuff that most of this is checked by the Sublime Linter package, and any linter for Python will check these things. It's a lot of silly things, but they're super useful. And that is that. And one of my favorites is this.
Okay, all of our favorites, man. You cannot say one of my favorites.
Okay, they're all favorites.
They're all favorites. It's
okay.
Like when you have sons, you cannot choose between.
Yeah, exactly. So there's one package called Snake.
Oh, and yeah. Well, I correct now. His favorite.
Okay, yeah.
This is. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Sometimes if you have the way that the guy describes it is, if you're really angry at your code and you just want to just have revenge in your code, you can play Snake on it. And it's control. You install a package called Snake, and then you go Control-Shift-Alt-S, and you get an actual Snake game. Yeah. And it's actually growing the more code it's eating, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's actually drawn walls on the sides of your code and all the way to the bottom. And you can just keep growing and growing and see how much of a high score you can get before you crash into a wall or yourself.
So you can see that. Oh,
you crash into your wall or whatever, and you get your Snake score.
And you've. I'm sorry, I was about to say a bad word. Did you screw your code now?
No, I did not. The add-on is super nice, and it makes a new window that with an unsaved file called Snake, and it copies your buffer. It adds the walls.
And you have all the little holes that you make.
Exactly, yeah. And what's funny is that the syntax highlighting is still working at the same time. So the color starts to change, and the code starts to look wrong.
Yeah.
And it's just
Can you run it on the test one, a small one, so we can...
well, I'm probably going to fail. Oops.
Why?
Because it's a very small wall. It's going to be super tiny.
Yeah, you failed.
I fail. So it's as big as your document. So
yeah, maybe here you have another chance for.
it's
You
a
see it
little
now go up
harder.
now, and you see where is my code?
And sometimes it's going faster when it goes up.
And
I
it
don't
takes
understand why.
Okay, I think.
And
this-
I lose.
We are spending too much time. In this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is just it amuses me.
Yeah.
And when I'm really angry at my code, it helps me relieve some stress. It's much better than those squishy balls.
Yeah, we need to do the Arcanoid version.
Yeah, someone needs to make Tetris and Arkanoid.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. And the other one, it's a very simple one. You can do some math. Sometimes you want to do
Yeah, this
like
super calculator.
finding out how old I am or whatever. And
yeah, 22 plus 5. Well, plus 1. That was tough.
Yeah, it's really hard. So like you do some math, like 2 plus 2 or whatever, or plus 10, and then you do Alt-C, and it's going to select the nearest formula. It's actually going to scan your cursor, and it's going to find the closest formula. Yeah. And then once it's selected, or you can select it yourself first, it will calculate it.
They use locations like eyes?
Not exactly, but they use regular expressions, which is black magic as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, regular expressions. We need to do another video on that.
Oh, I don't know if we can.
Well, first, maybe you need to.
I think we need to speak backwards to understand regular expressions.
Yeah.
They are the only people who can speak with the devil can speak those language, those expressions. They're so confusing. They're terrible. And then you also have the trailing spaces thing that I already showed you earlier. And just going to run down through a couple of the hotkeys. So we're going to show you in the description. And I know this video is getting a little bit long, but we're having a good time showing you this.
Hotkeys.
Hotkeys, yeah. So, of course, opening the console with Control tilde. And that's a Python console, so you can do whatever you want in there. You can also do Control Shift P for the command panel. The easy way to remember is P for panel. And Control G to go to a particular line. Say you're like, oh, I think I have an error in line 80. You're like, okay, line 80. Oh, that's it. And apparently I do have an error in line 80 in this case. I have this is work in progress code for something else that I wasn't doing. You can also have go into a function, which is super useful. You can Control R will cycle through the functions, and even if it's a class.
Exactly. Other editors used to have like a list or.
Yeah, and I that's one thing that I miss from a couple of the other editors is a slightly bigger display of this, but I still really love Sublime.
Yeah,
so
once you get used to that,
you get used to it
really fast.
And it auto-completes, so you're like, oh, reset, oh, there it is, and you press enter, and you're in the line.
You need to search. You have many functions that it becomes faster.
And sometimes you're even you want to like consult what's in another function, but you don't want to lose your cursor position. You go to it, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what it's doing. You press escape, and you go back to where you came from.
It just focus the screen on that place, and later it goes back again. Yeah,
exactly. It's really great. What else we have? We have going to anything, which is Control P, which is again autocompletes, and it will go to a file. It will go to a string in the file. It will do a lot of cool stuff. Actually, no, I think it goes. I'm not sure if it goes to it. I think it goes anywhere. Anyway, moving on. Control L to select the line. Very easy to remember. And it works in multiple cursors, so you can put your cursors in different places and select lines. Very useful.
Control Shift L.
Control Shift L. Oh yeah, this is really useful too if you have something like, I don't have an example here. Maybe this one. Like this, and you have a big selection, and you're like, oh, I want to change the word root here, and I'm sure you can do this, but maybe it has a different word. Maybe there's one of these is this, and one of these is that, and you don't really know. So you can select everything and do Control Shift L, which makes it into an individual. Expands your selection to lines, to individual lines.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you hit a cursor at every line.
Yeah. So you can go there.
So now they're at the end of the line. So I can, if I do that again, sorry, oops. If I do that again, I think if I do the left or right mouse button, the arrow keys, left to right arrow keys, then I can get my my cursor where I want it to be. And in this case, I have some nice spacing here, but oops, looks like I lost my. Excuse me. There we go. So now I can put my cursor right at the word, and I can use Control Shift left and right to select the word, and now have it selected, and I can change it for all of them, and it's very easy.
Yeah, definitely. We have more shortcuts.
Yeah, more shortcuts.
Yeah, maybe we can jump some.
Yeah, absolutely.
We post it on the video, but for example, for me, I found this one. The Control J.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Yeah, if you start with a list of items, like let's try over here, like
like let's say you have I don't know, red, blue.
Yeah, let's do some colors.
Like that, blue. So you can easily write your list or your dictionaries.
It's multiple lines, and it's nice and clear, and then you can do Control J, and
exactly, and it becomes like one line. So it's easy. Sometimes I want to write some very long list, and it becomes too long to have in one line, and where you can use the escape key and some stuff to go one line. But this is another very convenient way to handle these long lists and have better visualization.
Absolutely, and then one benefit once it's actually selected is that you can actually press the square bracket, and it's going to be encased in brackets.
Ooh, that's
because Sublime is amazing. And there's a bunch of things that you can do the same thing with quotes. If you select a word and highlight it, and you can do quotes. You can also do it with any kind of bracket, pretty much. It's very useful. What else we got? Let's see. We have moving lines, which is one of my favorites as well. You select some lines, and you go Control Shift up and down, and you can move those lines around. And also useful is to change the indentation of those lines, which is with the Control left and right square brackets. And that changes your indentation, which is very useful. And what's cool about it is that, you can also do the classic Shift Tab or Tab. Yeah. That works, but what's cool about this one is that if you're somewhere further along in the line, you can still use it. And it's going to work, and your cursor's going to stay where it was, which is very useful. And what else we got here? We have Control. Okay, we have a long list. Yeah. I apologize.
Maybe we should. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
I like really the F6.
Yes, there's a spell check.
Spell check, especially because I don't spell really well English.
F6, there's a spell check.
Okay.
Apparently, Passerin is spelled wrong, but it's not.
No,
it's a name. But
really
so if you do like distribute button, you can change that just by right-clicking. Yeah, and then you press F6 again, and you're done. So it's great for if you don't speak English as a native language.
More F, we have L11 that it's full screen, but
I'm recording in a small portion of my screen, so it's not gonna be appreciated.
Here. Yeah, exactly. But you just try it.
F11. Try F11, and then also try Shift F11. It's beautiful. It's just code and nothing else, and it's so peaceful.
Alan said, hey, it's the
Zen mode.
Zen mode.
Yeah, I call it the Zen mode.
Yeah.
Because it's like peaceful. I just want to put some like background music and code away.
No. Death metal there.
Yeah, or death metal if that's your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then a couple basic things, so you can find all of these hotkeys. By the way, are sprinkled throughout the interface. Yeah, so you can find them. You can go through the menus and discover new things. Just so you know, there's a couple of things with the layout. You can have 2 columns. It's just nice, and there's a bunch of hotkeys for that too. And you can move files between them. There's hotkeys for that as well. Columns are great. I like to see my code side by side. Sometimes I have my notes here, for example, like my hotkeys that I'm trying to read from, and some other files and whatever. And you can just drag and drop between them to move them around. And when you're even if you have other stuff in the tab, you can combine it back to one, and it's going to merge them into one
exactly.
line.
You don't lose anything.
Yeah, you combine to one, you didn't lose anything. No problem. And you can also split horizontally as well, which is nice.
Yeah, you have. You can see there.
If you go to view layout.
I was saying on our document.
Sorry.
You have the nice.
Yeah, here's my cheat sheet.
Yeah, well, it's what we're gonna post later.
Yeah, we're gonna post these. So you have the Zen mode, and you have Alt 1, 2, 3 to move around in your files, which is nice. You can control page up and page down to move back and forth between tabs, which is nice. Moving lines up and down to control. Actually, sorry, this one's wrong. It's Control Shift up arrow. Whoops. Let's fix that. And also another one that it's not here is if your cursor is somewhere else and you want to focus, you can do Control KC, and it focuses to the center.
You should add this one.
Yeah.
Control what?
K and C. There's a great feature in Sublime, and by the way, all of these hotkeys, and you can explore all of these yourself, are in their key bindings default, and you can make your own in the user one. Don't touch the default one, because then it's gonna get overwritten in a new version. So you can see there's a lot of hotkeys in Sublime, and it takes you don't have to learn them all, but they're very cool. And there's this great feature, which is amazing. You can have a pre-hotkey and then your hotkey, so you can essentially have almost infinite hotkeys. Because instead of like locking,
it's a hotkey that gives you access to a submenu of hotkeys. No,
no, not exactly.
No.
You can, it's not the explanation I was hoping for. It's more like you initiate a hotkey, and then that hotkey opens up to other hotkeys, so to speak, so you can have other combinations. So you can do things which you might not think possible, like KK to finish the line. So say you're here and you change your mind about this and you want to start over, you can do you can do KK, so Control K and then K again. And it's like in most programs you already typed Control K, you cannot type anymore.
Yeah. Well,
so but here it's like a sub hotkey.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure what they actually call them. What the feature is called.
My explanation was good, man.
Yeah.
You say no.
Oh, sorry. So you can see all the explanations here. It's a big JSON document, so it's very easy to edit. Just change the names here if you want. Of course, do it in the user one. Remember that anything you do in the user ones gets overwritten on top of the default ones.
Okay. So you can.
You don't have to delete it from here. You can just redefine it.
That's good.
And there's tons of stuff here. Just take a look when you have some time. It's great. And yeah, that's basically it, I think. It's almost an hour. I apologize if you're bored out of your mind, and hopefully you learned something and you can see why we like it.
Yeah, I did it. Thank you, Alan, for this super long and nice explanation. And see you in next videos. Yeah. See you around. I'm gonna be posting explanations for the balloons soon. It's been taking a while because I wanted to work out a couple kinks of it, and I'm happy now with how it is. So I'm gonna be talking about it. Tease the people, please. Yeah, I keep teasing you. I just want to make sure I explain it really well and clearly. It's not an easy one. Yeah, I need to study it and make sure it's all in my head. So okay. Anyway, thank you, Alan. Thanks a lot. See you next video. Yes, see you guys next video. Bye bye.